Hello, this is wmpyr. I was watching a podcast from the Combat JKD guys, and they shared a very interesting story, which I'd also like to share with you all, and just put in my 2 cents and my own details and stuff like that. The basic story, the situation was the instructor noticed that there was a guy watching his class and there was something going on, some vibe that he felt that wasn't quite right. And after the class, the guy came up to him and sure enough, basically issued a challenge saying, what would you do if I went for a takedown on you? I don't think you can stop it, from watching your class. How would you defend against it type of thing? So he basically challenged the instructor after class saying, can I do that to you? Can I try it? And the instructor actually accepted and he said, yeah, sure, go for it. Do whatever you want to do. And so the guy went in for the takedown, pretty much did a double leg takedown. And then I believe he got into the mounted position, grabbed the instructor by the throat, and then brought, his fist up here ready to drop a huge bomb. At that point, the instructor, looked helpless, and the guy was like, dude, you weren't able to do anything. And the instructor was like, are you sure? Are you sure about that? And he's like, what? And then there was a knife right there on the side of the guy. The instructor had put a knife right there. The guy didn't even see it, right? So I thought that was very interesting, and to help us try to be able to do that in a real life situation. I like to share some details that may help. Okay, so just watch Frank Shamrock versus Igor Zinoviev. That's a brutal takedown, and that's something definitely want to avoid, especially on concrete or something. You don't want to be slammed. So one way to avoid being slammed, from my own personal experience, was to go ahead and just drop all the way down to the ground. Another thing is, it's not just with takedowns. If someone's trying to grab you by the head and do these Muay Thai style knees, I've also found that if you just go straight to the ground from there, you can avoid those knees from coming in. It's when you stand and try to defend, that's when you're going to eat more knees. So from my personal experience, it's just like the moment you feel something like that, immediately pull them into your guard, essentially. So go with it. That's my first my first advice, is to go ahead and go with that motion. The second is, when you do go with that motion, so you're baiting them essentially, and you're leading them on now. It's they think they're doing what they want to you, but actually, you're baiting them. And you might be going, well, why would I want to go to the ground? Well, remember, this guy might be, over 200 pounds, MMA fighter or MMA fan, and he's comfortable on the ground, or he has some ground skills or something like that. I mean, you kind of don't have much of a choice here, So I don't want to be slammed to the ground, and I don't want to start eating knees, or who knows, he might change his tactics. So he's going for a double leg on me. Seems like the best bet here is to not fight it. Give him what he wants, but actually, bait the guy here and do as this instructor did. One way to practice this is, if you have a nice big couch, is to just, practice going and sitting down onto the couch that way, Now, it's human tendency to want to put your hand back and stop the fall. If you do that, you can dislocate your shoulder, or hurt your elbow, or hurt your wrist. What happened to me was I hurt my wrist. You could watch Shogun versus Mark Coleman. That guy, I believe, destroyed his elbow trying to stop the takedown. He put his hand out like that. So one important thing is to practice the break fall type techniques. Practice ways not to hurt your arm. That's pretty bad if the guy takes you down and try to finish you from there. So you don't want to leave that completely up to chance in that case. So I think you do have the right to defend yourself. So anyway, at this point right here, the knife, right? Taking out the knife. I don't think it's so easy that you go, yeah, I just take out my knife on the guy. He doesn't know that I got a knife and boom. And I don't think it's that easy. I do think it requires practice for sure. I do think practice is very, very important at this point. Also, the timing. What I do recommend is, first of all, if you do end up on the ground and you do end up in guard or whatever, taking your knife out may not be the same as when you're standing. So I would practice, getting, something, a pillow or something and putting it in the guard position and wearing your normal everyday clothes. See how difficult it is to take out your knife. Okay, practice that. Also, from different positions too. They might be on the top side. They might be on the mount. You may have guard. You may be in half guard. So whatever kind of position, anticipate. You may not have full access with both arms, just one arm, or who knows what. Or you may be holding on like this, trying to keep them close so they don't have leverage to punch down on you and whatnot. So those are all important factors. Now, as far as timing, my recommendation is to already have your knife ready to go. So at this point, I'm like, hey, look, I don't want any trouble, but notice this hand's coming right here, and then he's getting ready to do a takedown. The knife is in my hand right now, but you can't see it, and he can't see it, but I'm holding the knife at this point. So right here, I'm like, dude, I don't want any trouble. I'm ready to leave. I'm pretending like I'm ready to leave, but I'm anticipating the takedown. So at this point, if he does go for the takedown, remember, I'm not going to resist this, and I'm going to drop the center of my body to the ground as fast as I can because I don't want to be lifted up. That's the idea there. But as that happens, boom, this comes out, okay? And either arm, if this arm hits the ground or this arm may, like I said, it's natural to want to stick it out. So I'm going to make sure that I don't brace myself to break the fall, because trying to break the fall that way can mean a broken arm. So I'll keep that in mind, and through practice, make sure that doesn't happen. So boom, I hit the ground right there. I'll try to put him in the guard, but I may not be able to. And then at that point, I got the knife right here. The knife is ready to go at that point. So my recommendation is to already have the knife, ready to go as you're being taken down, rather than trying to take the knife out and all that, reaching for the knife and trying to take it out once you're on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm hitting the ground, I'm taking it out. So that's my recommendation. Once again, sounds easier than it may really be. So I would recommend that you practice that, actually have someone take you down and try to take your knife out. Or if you don't have a partner, at the very least, you should practice engaging the ground safely on your own and see, can you draw the knife with one hand? Can you, go down like this as you take the knife out? So those are some practices to try out. And if you do practice that and try that, then you're going to leave less and less areas untested, and you'll be more comfortable when it does happen in real life. And then hopefully you'll be able to do it. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.